Hello lovers, welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. I kind of want to fuck around and unleash my full potential in this world. I kind of want to stop playing small. I kind of want to become the woman I was always destined to be. I kind of want to fuck around and see what happens when I trust in myself more than I trust in fear. I kind of want to stop waiting for permission. I kind of want to do the thing. I kind of want to do it all. Honeys, I feel like we're going to be playing into those small little nudges, learning to lean into the small little nudges this week. What is the thing that you kind of want to do? You know, what's the thing that's just tickling and kind of piquing your interest every now and then? What's the thing that keeps calling to you, and maybe you give yourself an excuse, maybe you find a reason why you don't, and maybe you think of other things that you maybe should be doing instead, but it keeps coming back around. What is that one thing? What are those many things? Do you get where I'm going with this? This weekend I had a series of all these little nudges, these little cravings that I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my weekend. I had all this time made available to me because my plans changed, and I was like, wow, what do I do with this time? What do I do with my weekend? And I was like, I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to do that. But I kind of want to do that also. And then I was like, I kind of want to do it all. I kind of want to actually create the perfect day for myself. Now, lots of you have already seen how this played out on social media because I put it on my stories of all the things that I kind of wanted to do. And so many of you were like, yeah, do them all. Do the thing. And I did. You've probably seen I did them all. I did all the things. I went paddleboarding. I bought myself flowers. I got myself a nice matcha from a cute coffee shop. I painted my nails. I binged watched some true crime documentaries. I bought myself a couple new books. I read my book on the paddleboard. That was a real highlight for me just then. That's something that I've not done before and I will be doing again. Highly recommend. But yeah, I had all these little nudges and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to lean into them all. Because I sometimes feel when you have all these different things that you kind of want to do, you almost get overwhelmed by it. You almost feel like you have to land on just the one thing and focus on the one thing. And then obviously the next phrase is like, maybe I should do this instead. Maybe I should do that, you know? Again, that's very different. There's a difference between saying, I kind of want to do this and maybe I should do that. Even how it's said, you know? Even in the tone of those two phrases, all right? There's a difference. There's a difference in leaning into the little nudge, the little calling, rather than forcing yourself into something you believe you should be doing, you know? And that's why I want to take this episode this week, you know, leaning into those little nudges, okay? I have on my vision board, let bold take hold. And I've mentioned this before. And you know what's funny about this phrase on my vision board? It's actually so tiny. It's such a tiny cutout from a magazine. I can only barely read it from where I'm sat right now, but because I know my vision board so well, I know where it is and my eyes, for some reason, are drawn to it. Let bold take hold. It's so small. It's so subtle. But that's been like resonating through my brain recently. And I got thinking that every bold act you have witnessed, every bold, confident, courageous woman you have witnessed, anyone you admire, anyone that inspires you, anyone that encourages you to do more, to take up space, that woman, that act of courage, that confidence that they are displaying, started with a little nudge. Started with them learning to lean into those little cravings. Started with small movements, small decisions. in order to let bold take hold. And I think that's really fascinating. Literally picture the person that inspires you the most right now. Maybe, I don't know, could even be your friendly local yoga teacher. Could be somewhere else entirely, Think of the person that inspires you and remind yourself that the way in which they got to where they are now, yes, there's hard work. Yes, there's consistency. Yes, there's delusion. Yes, there's determination. But it's small actions. It's those little nudges, listening to them, and trusting that those small steps gather momentum over time and become something before you know it, before you recognize it, I have so many things that I kind of want to do each day, and it almost lands like a tantalizing thought. It's almost like a little flirty idea that lands in my brain. I'm just like, ooh, what a tease, lovely. Maybe I do want to do that. Like this afternoon, for example, I'm teaching class this evening, and I thought to myself, if it's still sunny this evening, if I've got a bit of time, I kind of want to just go outside and read my book for like half an hour before class. And I mean, I'm looking at the weather and the clouds have come over and it looks like it might rain. But even still, even if I'm inside, I kind of want to have half an hour just with my book before then leading a gorgeous yoga class. And I know that sounds so small and so insignificant, but actually, I don't know, to me that sounds really joyous, I have a habit of filling my time. We all do this, I think, right? We fill our times to the very brim. And for me right now, it's a Monday and there's this belief that we need to hit the ground running and do all the things and have the most productive Monday we could possibly have. But actually taking 30 minutes to just read my book, then teaching a yoga class, sounds quite delicious, to be honest. So yeah, that's what I'm getting at this week. I want us to lean into these little nudges, these little callings, okay? And the thing about these callings is if they keep coming back, if they keep whispering to you, that's a sure sign that you're meant to do that thing. And it could be these really small, tiny things, okay? But if it keeps coming back, that's a surefire sign that you are meant to do that. I think we also spend so much of our time on this kind of wheel of life almost. Think of I can't remember what the exact phrases, but think of like a hamster on a hamster wheel, right? We're constantly on that hamster wheel, chasing the next thing, trying to keep that momentum. But those teeny tiny little hamster legs, they're gonna get tired, okay? My teeny tiny legs, my poor legs, my tiny little claws, they are tired, okay? But again, we keep chasing because we believe that's how things change. We believe that's how things happen. And again, yes, there is something to be said for consistency, for continuing to show up. Absolutely. I've said that multiple times. But real change is often built in the tiny decisions you make. And I don't want to sound like a broken record because I feel like I've maybe packaged the same idea, the same advice, the same suggestions, just in slightly different ways over the past few weeks. But again, it just keeps coming back, right? These little nudges, these small conscious decisions that you can make, and they gradually build, that momentum gradually builds, and that's where change happens. That's where bold takes hold. And perhaps we're waiting for a sign, perhaps we're waiting for a level of certainty, maybe we're waiting for a confidence to land, maybe we're waiting for, I don't know, some kind of money to come through in order for us to do the thing, maybe we're waiting for the right timing. Yeah, okay, whatever, I get it. But alignment can come through a series of micro decisions. We talk a little bit about divine timing and things landing at that perfect moment. And sometimes it feels like this glorious moment of serendipity, like, wow, like, how did that happen? How did that come to be? Like, oh, I'm so thankful that happened at that right time. No, that happened at that time Yes, because of divine timing, but because of small acts that you have made previously, small decisions that you have made previously, but they're so small that you've maybe already forgotten about them and you've already moved on to the next thing, you know? So I think before we move on, before we're chasing that next thing, before those teeny tiny little hamster legs are racing again, notice the small things. Notice the little cravings, notice the little details. Another thing I did this morning was I had this thought last night, and again it was that exact same phrase, like I kind of want to do a manifestation meditation. I kind of want to take some time in the morning to do a visualization, right? And I kind of want to visualize my entire week and just really say to myself what I want to happen, what I want to manifest each moment, right? So this morning I did exactly that. I lead into that little craving, right? And I've collected a bunch of new plants recently. Thank you to my gorgeous pal Faye for giving me some hand-me-downs. So I'm really in the wilderness here. But I've got this little, like, tiny space nestled in between a few plants, and it happens to be right below my vision board. And I was looking at it, I was like, I'm meant to perch there. I'm meant to perch there, and I'm meant to sit with my thoughts, I'm meant to sit with my breath, and I'm meant to just take some time to do that exact thing, to do a manifestation, meditation, and a visualization. And I knew that I didn't want to, just go on YouTube or Spotify or anywhere and just get a random manifestation meditation. I knew I wanted it to be self-led. And yeah, I did the thing. I did exactly that. And I started off by, going throughout my whole week and just thinking, yep, there's this, there's that, there's blah, 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 and blah, 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 all the things, right? Then I was like, actually, no, this isn't quite working. I need to break this down day by day. So I focused on my Monday, and I focused on, the things that I need to do, but around that, and most importantly, the things that I want to do, and the things that I want to happen, the things that I believe can happen, the things that I know that I'm worthy of. And I wanted to then speak it out loud. And I've mentioned the past few weeks about breaking the silence, especially if you're living on your own. I spoke previously about my laughter, breaking the silence of my day. Today, I decided to let these positive affirmations, these manifestations, to break the silence of my day and speak them into existence. So I was waiting on a couple of emails to come through. I was waiting on some confirmations for some big opportunities to come through that, again, seem like they've come out of nowhere, but actually they've come from a small act that I did the week previously. And I'll explain that in a moment or so, just for more context. And when I opened my eyes from this meditation and I had a brief look at my notifications, I had received pretty much every confirmation that I was hoping for. And I even said to myself, like, I'd really love to get another sign up to Patreon today. That came through. I said to myself, I'd really like a couple more bookings for this event. They came through. Honeys, don't be slacking on your manifestations, right? And again, speak it into existence. Even just taking a moment. Again, it's such a small thing. Even just taking a moment to say it out loud. I want this to happen. And I'm saying it out loud because I'm saying it with my chest. I believe in it. And then what I also said at the end of this meditation was like, and I trust in this because I know it's already happened. It's already predestined. It's already written for me. And lo and behold, it was. And I know that sounds, I don't know, sometimes I worry with manifestation. It's like believe and achieve and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. But again, it's speaking into existence. It's taking those small steps and it's leaning into those little nudges. That's how manifestation works. It's not just saying to yourself randomly one Tuesday morning, I want to become an astronaut. And I don't know, maybe that's all at the forefront of our minds since the recent Artemis 2 space exploration, which has been pretty incredible to witness and has been pretty inspiring to watch and everything. But, and I'm not saying you can't become an astronaut, but again, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence that you're leaning into those little nudges to become an astronaut? Have you, I don't know, even watched a few space documentaries? Have you visited NASA? I don't know. Have you, I don't know, gone to your local space museum or something like that? Have you shown an actual interest in that? Or is this just an idea that's come out of nowhere? You know, where's the evidence? And learning to lean into these little nudges is giving you more and more evidence. And it's evidence of this self-trust. It's evidence that you trust yourself enough to not only say you're going to do the thing, but actually then do the thing, you know? This week in practice, I'm going to be speaking a lot about putting self-trust in motion, a lot of heart opening. And again, allowing your heart space to open is a very bold thing, but again, everything around you is inviting you to take up space. The sun is gloriously shining in the sky. The sky is that gorgeous blue, okay? Nature is inviting you to get outside more, all right? And again, we're peeling away these layers. We're still peeling away perhaps the final remnants of that winter's cloak, right? And as you're peeling away these layers, you're allowing yourself to take up space. You're allowing your shoulders to shrug and roll back away from those ears. You're allowing the collarbones, the chin to lift away from the chest, the collarbones to kind of spread across the chest. You're allowing your heart to just rise up a little bit. Rise up into this new day and rise up into this season and rise up towards this invitation that you are being presented with. So everything around you is almost setting the scene for you to just say this full-bodied yes and be like, I kind of want to do this thing. And then be like, actually, I'm going to fucking do the thing. You know? What is that one thing that you kind of want to do? You know? What's tickling? What's tantalizing? I don't know, what keeps coming back around? That's what's interesting. That's what's fascinating. Even if it's a case of like, I kind of want to go for a walk today. Or I kind of want to text that person. Or, you know, I kind of want to leave this event earlier. I kind of want to book that class or book that event. I kind of want to wear that outfit. I kind of want to start the thing. I kind of want to rest today. I kind of want to say no to that. I kind of want to say yes to that. These nudges can feel, you know, that like little glimpse of excitement. They can also feel quiet. They can also actually feel somewhat inconvenient. That's something I noticed again when you've got all these little cravings and you're like, how am I gonna do them all? And again, maybe there is the feeling that you should be doing something in particular. So again, that's where that inconvenience, I suppose, makes itself known. But also these little nudges, they're gentle. They're repetitive, and they're there for a reason. I feel like we minimize our desire so much, and I feel like as a result of that, we distrust ourselves so much, you know? And outwardly saying, you know, something you desire is in itself quite a bold thing to do. Again, I'm just trying to think of another example. Like maybe over a year ago now when I first said on the podcast back when I was doing it with Danny, I was saying, I kind of want to start dance classes again. I kind of want to go to a heels class. And sometimes I get a bit scared in saying something that I want to do because once it's out there, you've almost got to keep yourself, it almost keeps yourself accountable. It's like, okay, you've said it now. Are you going to do it? There's almost like a little bit of pressure. You then need to follow through. You then need to persevere on that thought, you know? But lo and behold, I did the thing. I went to those dance classes and I'm still going there a year later. I'm trying to think of another example of like where I've perhaps minimized my desire in the past, and one that's just come to the forefront of my mind is, and I'm gonna be vague here, sorry guys, some of you know what's up. If you do, keep it to yourselves, all right? But I've had this craving, this desire to run some particular events that are very different to what I currently offer. And I've had a few little conversations here and there. And again, those conversations themselves are further nudges, further signs that, yes, you're on the right path here. Just keep going, keep just taking these small steps, have the conversations, have the meetings, get clearer and clearer on that idea as you're doing it, as it's unfolding, right? But for so long, again, I've minimized that. It's taken me years to trust in that idea. And I actually, now that I think about it, there's been so many ideas, there's been so many cravings, there's been so many desires that I have minimized and put to one side, ignored, maybe because, again, I didn't think it was the right time. Maybe because I thought maybe I'm not the person to do such a thing. Maybe it's a case of not trusting the people around me. Maybe it's a case of doubt or imposter syndrome. All these things, actually, it's happened multiple times. But again, let's come back to how we started. Every woman, every woman that you admire, every woman that inspires you, the reason they got to where they are now is because they trusted in those small steps. They lent into those little nudges. So I guess I'm at the point where I'm starting to do that a little bit more. I myself am leaning into those little nudges and trusting that they will gradually build that momentum and everything will continue falling into place. I just have this little feeling, this little tingling that your life can completely pivot and turn and change just by you leaning into perhaps a somewhat insignificant urge. You know what I mean? Think of it this way, like booking one class leads to you establishing a completely new lifestyle for yourself. You taking yourself out for one walk leads to your healing, you learning to take a class in something leads to you establishing a whole new business. You deciding to, cut your hair or style your hair in a slightly different way leads to you creating an entire new identity. Again, there's just like ways in which you can take a small action and zone in on that small action and then zone out and see what the end result is. What is it you've been quietly wanting? What keeps returning to you? Can we do that one thing? And again, I'm really enjoying the way this is phrased. I kind of want to do this. I kind of want to do that. Because I guess it applies a level of ease, informality, or casualness. Like it's kind of like nonchalant. And I know sometimes we let's be less nonchalant, let's be more chalant, Again, let's be bold about things. But I guess maybe it takes the pressure off and just saying I kind of want to do this. It's that first step in you acknowledging what that desire is. It's you tentatively taking that next step, And maybe the phrase, I kind of want to do this, becomes, I'm going to do this, And I think that's exactly what happened to me at the weekend. I said, I kind of want to go paddleboarding. I kind of want to read a book. I kind of want to watch some documentaries. And it slowly became, I actually remember as I was putting that out on my story, I was like, okay, I'm going to do that first, and then that will lead me nicely into this one, and then I'll do that afterwards. So I started formulating a plan as I was putting it out into existence, as I was saying to myself, yeah, I kind of want to do all these things. And really all those tiny phrases became this next phrase was, I kind of want to create the perfect day for myself. And then from there, it became, I'm gonna create the perfect day for myself. Then from there, it became, I've had the perfect day. One thing about these little nudges also is that these whispers, these subtle little whispers from that inner voice within, the more you listen, the louder they get. Maybe this next version of you is hidden in one tiny little nudge, one tiny, honest desire. These soft, subtle whispers that the more you listen and lean in become a cacophony of sound. Yeah, that's my invitation to you this week. go on and have a little fuck around, you know? Figure out what it is that you kind of want to do and just do it. And see that self-trust build as you gather more and more evidence of you doing the thing that you say you want to do. And see how things fall into place from there. See how that momentum builds from there. Yeah, I'm going to wrap that one up there, honeys. As always, go forth and thrive, honour that nudge, fuck around and see just what becomes possible when you finally give yourself permission to take up space. Ooh la la! All right, honeys, I love ya, and I'll see you in the next one. Mwah. Alright, stunners, thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. I hope it has left you feeling suitably inspired. And as always, please don't forget to rate and review, like and subscribe, all those lovely things, as not only does this help the podcast grow, but it also helps us to reach more beautiful souls who need to hear these conversations. And of course, come hang out with me over on Instagram and TikTok at LaurenAmyYD, and follow the pod at butterflyeffect.pod. You can also dive deeper into yoga, meditations, poetry, and so much more with me over on Patreon. Until next time, keep living a soft life loudly because you know you deserve it, and I'll see you in the next episode. Mwah!